Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Denver, Colorado, it's time for Franchise Bible Coach Radio. Now, here are your hosts.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Franchise Bible Coach Radio podcast with Rick and Rob. I'm Rick Grossman, and I'll be your co-host today. I'm going to bring in my co-host, Rob Ganley, in just a second here. But we have some pretty exciting news to tell you about today. Our topic today, we have Daniel Rodgers and Rick Saunders from Back Solution Clinic in Melbourne, Australia. And they're going to tell us a lot about their brand new franchise opportunity that's coming to America, and lots of exciting things to kind of dive into today. And we're happy to have you guys, and it's tomorrow morning there. So we know it's bright and early the next day there. So you might be win the contest for the farthest away guests we've ever had. So welcome to you guys, Daniel and Rick.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce my co-host, Rob Ganley, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about our sponsors and then just jump right into questions so we can get started. Hey, Rob.
How are you, Rick? It's good to be here. And yeah, I'm kind of excited today, too. I have a lot of personal experience with this kind of a company, a business, and not only from a franchise standpoint, but just as a personal from my family and everything else. So it's going to be fun to talk about what these guys are doing, some innovative things. But before we jump into the interview, I just wanted to quickly thank our supporters and our sponsors. First and foremost, Entrepreneur Magazine for their support of Franchise Bible, the book, and Rick, of course, is the author, but their support of the show and the book, as well as SEO Samba. SEO Samba is one of the founders and innovators of the franchise marketing operating system. And what that is a platform to help franchisees and franchisors work together to serve their local markets, both locally and nationwide. So we thank SEO Samba, and you can learn more at seosamba.com. So without further ado, and this is like one of my favorite questions to ask entrepreneurial guys and successful business owners, and by the way, super successful, and they'll tell you more about it down in Australia and different places, and want to bring this wonderful proven model here to the U.S. And so welcome, guys. And one of my favorite questions to lead with is, tell us a little bit more about how you got to where you are, why Back Solutions was invented, and sort of your vision and who you serve.
Yeah, thanks, Rob, and thanks, Rick. Personally, myself, I've been in this industry for well over 10 years now, specializing in chronic back pain. I have a background in health science, and we've always seen there's been a bit of a lack of transparency in the industry, and we're trying to provide as many people the treatments that they deserve and need to get better and to fix their backs. There's countless people out there that just aren't getting the right solutions to their pain. So that's how we came about this. Rick, also my co-founder, he's been doing this for nearly 20 years. So combined, we've got nearly 30 years experience, and we've both come from a background where we've both suffered with chronic back pain, which led us into this industry. And it got to about 2014, and we really looked at this, and we had a successful exit from one of our previous businesses. And we looked at this and said, this should be a franchise. We can't get to as many people as we need to get to. We had waiting lists, we had a number of different clinics, we had a number of different practitioners, but we just needed that congruency, and we needed that support from people behind us to reach these ever-growing number of people. And when we looked at the statistics in America alone, there's approximately 260 million Americans that suffer or will suffer with back pain. So it was sort of a no-brainer. From 2014, we really put in a lot of work. And 2015, we launched the first Back Solutions clinic here in Melbourne, Australia. And fortunately, we've met some great people along the way, and particularly Rick and Rob, yourself, and the team that we've been working with at the moment, just try and launch this over in America and make this a really sustainable long-term business, helping millions and millions of people.
Yes, that's something we need for sure. And there's a lot of reasons you get back pain, and I've suffered that myself, and look forward to having some clinics open here in America that we can we can go to. And I understand Rick was got his back pain through some pretty aggressive rugby football. Am I calling it the right thing?
Yes, Australian rules football. So our kind of unique code of sport down here in Australia, Rick. So yeah, correct.
That's a tough man's sport. So you earned your stripes there. So great. Well, I want to ask kind of a two-part question here. One is, tell the listeners a little bit about what's unique about the Back Solution Clinic treatment model, and how does it differ? I'm sure people are asking, is it like chiropractic? Is it like physical therapy? What's so unique about it and different? And then tell us a little bit about the business model itself and what makes that unique. So start with the treatment system.
Yeah, so with the treatment, I suppose it's different that in the allied health space, you'll sort of graduate from university and you'll be taught a set of skills that take you into the workforce. And what's unique about our model is that both Daniel and I suffered from chronic back pain whilst we were sort of studying our undergraduate degrees. And that led us to more search for a solution that we weren't getting in the industry. So what we do is quite unique, and it is more tailored to people who have long-term suffering back pain that aren't getting the solutions they're looking for. So it's a two-step process where we look to address the underlying cause, which is often compensatory patterns that creep in, sort of underlying weaknesses. And we look to get people's body back to a nice, strong position and just remove the need to manage back pain and allow people to get on with their lives. So.
Okay, and from what I gathered, talking to you before, you were saying it was kind of a combination of different disciplines, so to speak, right?
It really is, yeah. We've done a lot of research early on. We studied with a lot of and worked very closely with a lot of different physical therapists, chiropractors, actually sports doctors, and chiropractors from both America, Europe, and here in Australia. So it's very, very multidiscipline in its approach.
Okay, very good. Well, that sounds exciting. Tell me a little bit about the Back Solution Clinic business model and what makes it unique.
Well, with the business model, we've looked at this for a long time, and we wanted to set up a really sustainable business for your physical therapists that wanted to get into the franchise field, and also your entrepreneurs. And we think everyone's got that entrepreneurial spirit naturally. Everyone wants to be the best at what they do, no matter what they're doing. So we wanted to set up a business that's not going to cost you in excess of $500,000 just to operate. We started to see traits in the physical therapy industry and the health industry in general where to get one clinic, it was, like I said, going to cost you over $500,000. And then you've got to pay your rent, your fit outs, you've got all your staff, your employees, and there's not very much of a bottom line left for you towards the end of that. So what we did, we looked at a number of different solutions to this so we could get as many people to become that entrepreneur and that business owner. So we looked at the model. So it's a very low investment to get in. We've built this for 5 years. So we wanted to have more foresight rather than hindsight. So we tested this ourselves. We didn't guess. We did it for multiple years. So it's a proven marketing model. It's got minimal overheads. It's extremely lean and an efficient business model. That way, more financial rewards goes to the franchisee. We've structured a win-win business model. This was effectively created by us for health entrepreneurs or franchisees in general. As I touched on before, or Rick touched on before, it's a tried and proven treatment approach and method. And there's always going to be an endless amount of back pain sufferers out there, and we don't really see the market offering these type of solutions. And there's no one specifically doing this type of work. And give or take 260 million Americans that will suffer or do suffer with back pain, it's an incredibly large market, and we think it's almost an untapped market for a lot of people. Yeah. So if we can provide a solution, and not just for our patients, but also our franchisees, we see this as a win-win.
Nice. Well, that's a lot better than taking medication, I would gather, right, Rob?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I had some personal experience with this. Obviously, 260 million people. You know people also, right? Like I can probably name a half a dozen just off the top of my head that tell me they have little issues with back problems or major issues. But I know for me, it changed my son's career as a runner, and he's now really excelling. And but it was because of a physical therapist here in the U.S. that was able to address it. But I think what I'm trying to say is that you guys are paying attention to a specific problem, and you've gotten really good at it. And I think that's what's so important, is that so many people try to do too many things, and so they don't give as much attention to this what is necessary to develop the methodology and make it work. And do enough of the same things to say, yeah, we do that and we do it really well. And I know you guys have proven that, right? You've done it at a high level in Australia, and that's the point, because you're specializing. And it sounds like a great opportunity, because I know how good it made our family feel when we finally found someone who understood and could address it. But then to be in that business, right? And to be able to run that kind of a business, I think is very rewarding, not just financially, but to be able to help. And so tell us a little more, Daniel and Rick, about your ideal candidate. I know we've talked a little bit off the show here, but tell us a little bit, who do you think fits this model the best? Do you sort of have an ideal prospect or person that really fits the clinic model that you're looking for?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I suppose leading on from what Daniel was saying before about the lessons that we learned over a period of time. Look, we went down the traditional route of setting up clinics, outlaying hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the clinics look professional, they look fantastic, but it really draws on your bottom line. And we probably over the years we changed the model and found that. Yes, us at our practitioners, our core drive was to help people. But at the end of the day, you need to make a profit. You're in it to run a business. And we adjusted that. We set up a low cost model, and we've really learned hard from that over the years, which has been fantastic. But I suppose the ideal candidate is a really driven practitioner. That wants to get the best out of their career, but also a very profitable business, and to leverage off the system and model that we've created. But also, we feel it's a great opportunity for investors to obviously come in and sort of hire their own physical therapists and set up multiple clinics as well. So hopefully that answers your question, Rob.
Yeah. I think there's something in there for everybody. And like I said, we live in a world now where making money is great, and we all need to do that. But when you can also make money and help people, that's even better. And the market, like you guys said, is huge and untapped from what you're saying. And I know I experience a lot of that in my profession, where if you find a way to do something well and really zero in, then you can help more people and do a better job. And many try to go too broad, but sounds like you can help a lot of different types of candidates, right? Whether they want to invest or whether they want to be in the day-to-day or have a team or whatever. But it sounds like you can meet everybody's need there with the model. And so that's really, really interesting. I mean, Rick, you've seen models. You have worked in franchising longer than me, and I thought I worked in it a long time. Yeah. But this is unique, isn't it? I mean, the way they're approaching it.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, Rob, because there are some models here in the U.S. that require that you have a chiropractor, a doctor of record. There are some where you, like some of the dental ones, where you need to have a doctor of record, and so there's some opportunities in the health and wellness industry, but some of them have some restrictions that you have to kind of work through. This one sounds pretty exciting because you can be an investor and own something in the health and wellness business and in the back pain business, and have the ability to hire some physical therapists, like Rick said, or you could be the physical therapist yourself and then open up a store and start operating that way. So there's a lot of different entry points, and there's a lot of different opportunities for different types of candidates, and especially now that we're kind of coming through this new boom in franchising, where we're getting a lot of individuals coming into the industry that maybe restaurant isn't their isn't their cup of tea, but they want to do something that has a storefront or more of an office model, I should say, and they're able to operate in the health and wellness industry, which is fantastic. So yes, very, very unique, very exciting. So Rick and Daniel, tell us a little bit about, give us an example of a real world customer story that you could share with us that kind of exemplifies how your treatment works. So how does this unique treatment change people's lives for the better?
Well, I think we'd struggle to find just one story. I mean, we've got literally tens of thousands of stories. Probably one patient that always sticks out to me is one of my patients, Rob, and he won't even mind me telling this story, but he was booked in for surgery. And this is just a typical day at the office for us, but he was booked in for surgery. He was going to have a pretty serious procedure, and he gave us a call and said, "Is there anything you can do for me?" And he was pretty grumpy on the phone because he had all these surgeries he was approaching and no treatments were working. And I said, "Come on in, we'll see what we can do." He hobbled in with his wife, holding him on one shoulder. And probably about a half an hour treatment, he goes, "That's the best I've felt in months." And he did a lot of manual labor. He was a carpenter by trade and a bricklayer. And we were able to get him to a point where he doesn't need surgery. He lives his life pain-free now. I see him every now and again, just for a bit of a maintenance. And even through this whole COVID dilemma and pandemic we've got now, the beauty of it is, like, it was almost recession. The health industry is recession-proof. So he was still able to work part-time, but then a lot of other places were closed that he could have actually got certain treatments. But because we're allowed to stay open, we maintained his back. No pain whatsoever, living a pain-free life now. That's just one story that sticks out. And then also, Rick and myself, we've worked at the highest level, with the highest level of athletes across Australia and also the world, with Olympic athletes, elite sporting clubs. When you're working with some of the biggest names in sport, that's pretty exciting as well. That's pretty exciting when certain players are going to pull out of their tennis tournaments or their Australian rules football games or rugby games or any sport. That's pretty exciting when you're able to get them back on the field.
It seems like you could even take that the wrong direction if you were a fan of the wrong team.
Well, I've got no reason to complain because my football team's doing all right at the moment. So
yeah, you don't have to star the other team that you don't like, right? In America, we take our American football pretty serious. I worry sometimes what they might do to the other team, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. It obviously works, and you've been at it for a long time. And that's the exciting thing about this opportunity, folks, is that you can get in the health and wellness industry and start helping people. And there's nothing that feels better in a business than actually having an impact on your community and helping people feel better. I know when I had back pain, I couldn't function. I couldn't do anything well. I couldn't work well. I couldn't, play with the kids. It's debilitating. And so relieving people of that chronic pain can be a life-changing situation. So that's the opportunity here. I think that really has an impact in more ways than financial. And like Daniel said, you're an essential business, and you're able to operate through just about anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was just one story, but even what you just touched on then, I mean, back pain doesn't just affect you physically, but mentally, emotionally, financially, socially, spiritually, with your vocation. I mean, there's so many different areas that it affects your life. And even you asked me to name one story. I had a lady out at reception yesterday just give me a massive cuddle in reception and say, "Thank you so much for everything. There's a reason I keep coming back. It's because you're the only people that have been able to help me." And I'm not saying we're better or worse than anyone else. We've just got a very different, unique model that seems to be helping a lot of people. And we truly just want to pass on our knowledge, our experience from a treatment perspective, number one, but also a business perspective, number two. So it's very financially rewarding for our franchisees. And as we touched on before, we want to create a win-win.
Yeah. I think I was impressed too with, and I think Rick touched on it, but being able to strengthen the part of the body that's causing the pain and being able to have a long-term solution rather than a quick fix, right? So that's an exciting element of the treatment, I think.
Yeah. So Rick, I think the issue, I mean, Daniel touched on some of the really good feel-good stories, but I think the really sad part is a lot of people, they give up. They just believe that they have to manage their back pain, and they might sort of do that with medication and treatment, but their quality of life is really diminished. And we'll get people to come in after 5, 10, 20 years, and that's been the norm for them, and it just doesn't have to be that way. And we know we learned a specific way coming through uni, and we're very fortunate to have had our own experiences that have led to more of a solution around strengthening the body, so you don't have to manage. You're feeling good day to day, and like Daniel said, you can focus all your efforts on your family or playing sport or doing things you love, but not being sort of riddled with chronic debilitating pain all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a trend toward getting away from medications and getting healthier here in the U.S. So that's an exciting place to be.
Yeah, truly. I mean, I was just thinking, again, you're looking at a profession that is probably one of the fastest growing ones, physical therapy. And I think the reasoning behind that, especially in America, is you've got all these different trends that are sort of pointing in that direction. People aren't as healthy as they should be. We know the numbers of people that are overweight are way off the charts, and folks that just aren't taking care of their bodies, and that leads to this, a lot of times could lead to these ailments that they don't know how to fix. But these are not going away. So on the side of, hey, where do I get started in business today? You got something that, again, like I think Daniel said, is a blue ocean, right, of opportunity, because you zeroed in on an area that you're really good at and you get predictable results. And it is just everywhere, right? And then beyond that, it's just most Americans are starting to realize we've got to do better, right? And we want to get away from pharmaceuticals and away from lifestyles that are not healthy. And so it's all pointing in the right direction, but we need practitioners like you guys. And so, like I said, it changed my life. It changed my son's life, which as a parent was more important for him to have the opportunity to excel. Without that, it just wouldn't have moved forward. It was, like you said, it's debilitating and you just can't perform. So I was very thankful to have that experience. So I can relate to those stories you probably get on a regular basis. Anyway, so if folks that are listening, our listeners, if you could give them, before you give them where they can visit and how they can learn more, is there anything you might share with someone who's listening, wondering, should I get started? Is it the right time? Is there like a gold nugget as an experienced entrepreneur that you might share? And then maybe tell the folks where they can find out more about you.
Yeah, look, probably the gold nugget from my point of view is I think, especially in the current climate, the thought about laying hundreds of thousands of dollars to get into a business before you even turn a profit. Look, from our experience and sort of running other businesses as well. I just really love the low cost approach in terms of your seed capital and ongoing cash flow requirements of this model. So, that would be my incentive in the current climate for both investors and even practitioners themselves. So,
And I think in this COVID pandemic we're going through, I think I touched on it before, but I really feel that PT and physical therapy is an opportunity that's not going to really go too far downhill, because just because a lot of the economy may be shut down, pain doesn't go away. It doesn't discriminate. It's always going to be there. People are forced to work at home. They're sitting at chairs that aren't comfortable. They're not doing as much exercise. So we've actually had a boom at our clinic. So I think that the opportunity, like we never saw COVID as sort of a setback, was more of an opportunity. We said, well, how can we utilize our time? How can we get better? So we saw this as more of an opportunity. And a lot of people now, we're still looking at the statistics, and they don't want to be vulnerable in their job position. They want to take ownership and be empowered by their job and have the ultimate say in what they do. So they don't want to be dictated by a lot of other people. So we see this as a massive opportunity, COVID. Unfortunately, it's been a horrendous situation for a lot of people, but we do feel that the physical therapy industry is going to boom out of this. And we know in the next 8 years, they're expecting huge growth with an aging population, with more back pain and other ailments creeping into our day-to-day lives. So we don't think it couldn't be a better time for us to launch this.
Yeah, that's good. Well, and you can also help people with pain in other areas, correct? Not just the back.
No, absolutely. We pretty much treat all areas of the body. Lower back pain seems to be the primary focus that we treat, but I'd probably estimate about 75% of our patients are back pain. Then we get referrals from everywhere, from all our patients or online, and they might come in with neck, shoulders, headaches, migraines, hip problems, sciatica. So there's a number of different things that we treat, and we also will train up our practitioners, franchisees and investors in the treatment protocols and methodologies so they can take our experience and our treatment methods and add them to their repertoire quite easily. It's a very, very simple model to learn.
Wonderful.
An effective model.
Yeah, covers everything. That's great. Well, gentlemen, we're about to wrap up here, but tell us a little bit about how the interested candidate can get started learning about Back Solution Clinic. Where can they go, and what should they do to look at next steps?
Yeah, thanks, Rick. So you can go to our website, backsolutionclinic.com, or you can visit our franchise website, which is backsolutionsfranchise.com. Or you can contact us, or you can give us a call on 833-913-3093. Any questions whatsoever, feel free to shoot us an email, give us a call. We're more than happy to answer any questions that you've got after listening to this.
Okay, and there's a franchise tab on the consumer site as well. I believe it goes to the franchise page, correct?
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Awesome. Well, Rob, is there anything else that you wanted to cover before we wind up the show today?
No, like I said, I was looking forward to this one. I think it's everything we said today, right? It's a great business model. It serves people well. It serves the franchisee well. And it's something that the population here, especially in the U.S., needs everywhere. But, here in the U.S., we need it. And it's life-changing. Like these guys said, it's like when you have and you're living with that, you're just not living life the way it should be lived. So anyways, no, it was great having you guys, and looking forward to seeing this develop over the coming years.
Awesome. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you for joining us today, guys. And just another shout out to our sponsors. We want to thank, of course, SEO Samba. You can find them at SEOSamba.com. And you can learn more about the Franchise Bible Coach and our programs at franchisebiblecoach.com. And of course, everyone knows where entrepreneur.com is. So we appreciate everyone's support. Thank you to our guest today and my co-host, Rob. And we'll see you on the next podcast of the Franchise Bible Coach Radio podcast with Rick and Rob. Bye, everybody.